Cooper DeJean on social media this afternoon. Quote, they got a great one. Wouldn't be the player I am without Coach CP. CP is defensive backs coach Christian Parker. He's leaving the Eagles to become the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. What? Another one bites the dust as the Eagles now have another coaching vacancy to fill. Huddle up, Birds Huddle, up and running, presented by Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL. Barrett Brooks, I'm Michael Barkan. So not only are the Eagles looking for an OC, but also a DB coach as well. Barrett, we'd heard the whispers preceding this move. What's your reaction to Christian Parker's exit?
Well, I mean, he's a great coach, and because he's a great coach, he's going to be in high demand. With success breeds envy from others. Now, why not go out and weaken one of your, division rivals by going and taking one of their better coaches? They saw how those guys were balling, so yeah, of course they're going to go out and take him away from us. He brings a little bit of, Fangio's system. So, I mean, good luck while you're there. But we still gonna kick that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good luck while you're there.
Yeah.
We're coming for you. Back to Cooper DeJean. We read the tweet. Now watch his response when asked about Christian Parker during lockout cleanout 10 days ago.
He's poured a lot into me and, Q2, ever since we got here. And, I appreciate him for that. And, not everybody notices him and he doesn't get the recognition that I think he should.
So 3-point stance presented by Toyota. Stance number one, you can't lose coaches to a division rival. Except, unfortunately, you can, and you do, and they did. How much info do you expect Christian Parker to give to the Cowboys, and will his departure hurt the Eagles any more than it would have had he gone to an AFC team, for example?
Bro, this is big. It's a lot bigger than what we're thinking right now. I mean, come on now. His check's going to have a star on him now, not an Eagle. It's going to have a star on him. So that's his new loyalty. He's going down there. He's going to tell what side of the bed Jalen Hurts wants to sleep on. He's going to tell all the little idiosyncrasies on how you go out there and try to stop Jalen, how to stop this offense. Give him a little bit, if you take Jalen, if you take, any of our receivers, take Smitty. All right, this is what Smitty doesn't like. All right, this is what AJ doesn't like. He's going to give all tape. Why? Because I know I did it. When I left a team and went to another team, I left Detroit and went to Green Bay, and I gave up all tape on, that's how you get them. You got to do this, you got to do that. It's the nature of the ball. It's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the ball. You got to go out and, you got to make sure your guys are going to be ready to play against those guys going next year. So, yeah, it's going to happen. He's going to give up all tape. He's going to tell everything he can about Jalen Hurts. And, I understand, but, he's leaving a really good team, going to a team that's our division rival. So, yes, it's tough when you get that type of closeness when somebody leaves your organization.
When he's asked what's AJ done, what he doesn't like, that's going to be a long list.
Just act like he's going to run up and hit him real hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, starting with the head coach and then the quarterback.
Go up there, go up and tell the secrets. Yeah. Hey, we don't double team him.
Yeah, don't do that. On the other side of the ball, the Eagles have requested an interview with Bears offensive coordinator Declan Doyle for the Birds OC position. The 29-year-old Doyle was the youngest offensive coordinator in the NFL. However, in Chicago, head coach Ben Johnson called the plays. That brings us to stance number two. It's risky to hire another first-time play caller. What would Doyle bring to the Eagles if they did go in that direction, Barrett?
Well, I mean, they're getting a nice young recruit. I mean, and
he hasn't called the plays, though.
I mean, he didn't really play football either. He left Iowa Western Community College, and he was a baseball player. He went to the University of Iowa. Yeah, he went to the University of Iowa, became like an assistant there, and learned the game. I mean, I can't mess with his hustle. University of Iowa had some great, defensive players leave there, a la DeJean. DeJean. Mm-hmm. DeJean comes from Iowa. So he goes there, but then he goes down to the Saints and becomes, quality control guy. And you can't, he did it the right way. He went up through the ranks. And he went to the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton was his guy. Sean Payton liked what he was doing down there. Eventually takes him and makes him the tight end coach in Denver. Then Denver he goes to the Chicago Bears and becomes the offensive coordinator. Now, he may not have called any. Well, he called a couple plays. I can't say he didn't call any. Johnson gave him a little bit. He's the offensive coordinator. He implemented the offense. He saw how, Johnson did it. So, I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of that. We like to go and take new mystery type of guys and put them in our systems. Guys that are going up the level, just like we did with all our head coaches. So this is an opportunity for go out there and really, have him cut his teeth. I don't like that.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying.
Let me
I'm
tell
trying
you
to
this.
sell it. I can't sell it.
I'm still stuck on baseball player. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
I don't want my
too.
OC being able to. You know what? He turns a great double play. You know what I'm saying? He threw out more runners. It was unbelievable. He hits with 2 outs.
He was with Sean Payton. I'll say that he was with Sean Payton, and Sean Payton is gifted. He was my quarterback coach when I first got with the Eagles, my rookie year, and he went up the. That's my guy. Sean is very, very smart as far as offensive systems. So he learned from some great system guys that really know how to coach the game. So I truly believe he can do it. But just, I don't know, first-time play caller again.
Yeah.
I don't know if my nerves could take this.
You got to be darn sure he's your guy.
And I apologize, everybody. I tried to sell it. I just can't sell it right now. It's just not in my heart. I wouldn't go in this direction. It's not in my heart. I'd lie for you if I lied to you. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't know if I go there. I want somebody that's, well-established, going to call plays, who garners the respect of being an offensive coordinator that can go around and play bully ball. He's only, he's barely, have hair on his face.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. There's not a lot of guys that he's older than on the team.
Yep.
How are you going to go up and tell Lane Johnson to do something when Lane Johnson's older than he is?
All right, there are also whispers that Jeff Stoutland is somehow involved here. He's the run game coordinator in addition to be the offensive line coach, and we know how great he is, but he doesn't want to give up, we hear, the run play game coordinator
He's not
position.
Going to.
Right.
So
then the OC's not getting complete autonomy. Do you think that's causing a little problem?
You're talking about the best offensive coach, bar none, as far as assistants in the NFL is Coach Stoutland. That's my opinion. This guy has got, Hall of Famers. He's coached Hall of Famers. He's got this offensive line playing like nobody's ever done before. This is the worst offensive line I've seen him coach this year. And, I think it was just because of injuries that they didn't play as well as they should. He's a brilliant guy. Of course, there's going to be some, there's not really friction. They're going to have to work together. But you can't take away those type of responsibilities from coach. No, that's not happening.
Then there's former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniels, who joined the Chargers as offensive coordinator. So when we boil it down to stance number 3, Mike McDaniel chose Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts. Is that it? If you look at the numbers, Barrett, it might not look like the best decision, though. Take a look at this. When Shane Steichen was with Herbert in L.A. in 2020 before being fired and joining Hurts in 2020, Kellen Moore spent the 2023 season with Herbert before getting the boot. Moore ended up with Hurts and the Eagles the following year. Is it safe to say that Mike McDaniels is following a bad trend?
Well, Herbert's a good quarterback. We're not going to take that away from him. But you look at the results that you have with Herbert, he hasn't won anything. Although he did win this last game against us, he beat us. But they barely beat us, and Jalen had 5 turnovers.
Shouldn't have done it.
We had 5 turnovers in that game. Jalen had 4 of them. But when you think about it, everybody's thinking that you got to come in and make Jalen a good quarterback. Well, Jalen has made play callers better play callers of what he can do. When they went to the Super Bowl, it was on the back of Jalen. His ability to go out there and run, his ability to go out there and pass, his decision-making, his lack of turning the ball over throughout the season. That's what makes Jalen well. So Jalen makes these offensive coordinators look good also. So I think everybody's kind of mixed up on who they should be talking to about who's going to be the offensive coordinator. We'll be just fine whoever they bring in, as long as number 1 is good with them.
But is it an oversimplification to say that Mike McDaniel chose Justin Herbert over Jalen Hurts? The quarterback runs the offense on the field, for goodness sakes. Is that too simplified?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of other decisions involved. His wife might not want to be in cold weather. And, she just got from sunny Miami. Why would you want to go from Miami to freezing cold Philadelphia? Let's go back west. We're westward bound. Let's go out so we can sit back and be in L.A., sitting on the beach. That's what they want to do. Come on now.
Come on.
I would want to,
I would want to go to Miami, from Miami to Philadelphia. Well, I would want to be in a blizzard this weekend.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I think the only bad thing about going to California is the taxes.
Yeah, that's it. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell selected as All-Pro corners for 2025. Prior to the season, the Eagles hadn't had an All-Pro cornerback since who? Asked Birds Trivia. Answer is Lito Shepherd.
I thought it was
2004.
I thought it was Sheldon, but no, it is Lito.
It is Lito.
Yep.
Sheldon was good, but Lito got the nod in 04. Let's turn to the experts now, presented by Carrier, Eagles Insider from NBC Sports Philadelphia.com. Dave Zangaro joining us now. Dave, I know you were a big fan of Christian Parker as the defensive backs coach. What are your thoughts seeing him hired as the Cowboys' new DC?
Not surprising, Michael. I mean, this is a guy that they knew they were just borrowing him until he got a defensive coordinator job. But he did such a good job over the last 2 years. All of his players rave about him. The coaching staff raved about him. And from what I heard, Brian Schottenheimer was very impressed with the interview he gave just on Wednesday. So not a surprise. It stinks for the Eagles that he's going in the division and he's going to be the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. But they knew they were borrowing him. He did a really nice job with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, but also some of those other players, like getting Adoree Jackson playing at a decently high level this year, getting Andrew Makuba far along in his rookie season. He deserves a lot of credit, and they're going to miss him.
Well, you talk about, of course, you talk about Cooper DeJean and you allowing those young guys to develop. First year they go out there and play. Second year, they're even better. But then how important was his development as far as the entirety of it and going out there and really showing these guys, all right, Blankenship, you got to be here, but you got these shortcomings, and I'm going to make sure I put the defense around you. Just pointing out the different, ways in which he's got, like Jackson, to go out there and play to a higher level than he was this year than the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and I think it really helped that he had such an intimate knowledge of Vic Fangio's defense because it has to work all together. But, yeah, I mean, I think obviously the highlight of his career here, the 2 years here, was getting all-pro level play out of two guys who were rookies when he first got them. And a lot of work went into that, a lot of time extra with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. He used to tell those guys, don't come in my office without a piece of information on your own. So he was always challenging them to think for themselves, and then he'd correct them as he saw fit. So I know those guys rave about him, and I don't think that's any coincidence.
Mm-hmm. Dave, it's bad enough, I guess, that they need a new offensive coordinator, but who are the options to replace Christian Parker as defensive backs coach?
Well, the internal option is a pretty good one. I think Joe Casper, who's been their safeties coach for the last 2 years, has been under Vic Fangio for a while. In 2023, he actually went down to Miami with Fangio. Fangio took him with him when he went down to Miami. Before that, he was with the Eagles as the defensive quality control coach. So he has a pretty good knowledge of the Eagles, but also a Vic Fangio system. He's another coach, and you're around players enough, you kind of know what they think of their coaches and who can get the most out of them. That would be the obvious internal hire. If they go outside the building, I think they'd go on some sort of a search, but I think Joe Casper might be ready to make that jump.
Well, let me ask you this, Dave. Is he running the same system as, Vic Fangio's running here? Or do you think he has his own thing? Because he followed from Denver, then to Philly. Is it going to be the same system?
I think it's going to be similar. He might have some wrinkles here or there, but, half the league is basically copying Vic Fangio's system anyway, so I don't think that's much of a shock. And the Eagles, a long time before they got Vic, they were trying to implement a lot of those things too, whether it was with Jonathan Gannon or Sean Desai. So it's kind of a hot defense in the NFL, and I think that, I don't think the Cowboys just hired a scheme. I think that would have been a mistake, but that's part of it. They wanted someone and they've had a bunch of different schemes down there in Dallas. So I don't think it was just about the scheme. I think it's about the guy too, but the scheme doesn't hurt.
All right, Dave, you can read and watch Dave's work on NBC Sports Philadelphia.com and on the Eagle Eye podcast. Dave Zangaro, thanks as always for joining us.